Hello, my name is Rusty Coones, and I have with me Greg Lutzka, skateboarder and motorcycle rider, two-time gold medalist in the X Games, the Maloof Money Cup, multiple Dew Tours, multiple World Cups, and the only skater to date to have won the Tampa Pro event 3 times. How you doing, Greg?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad to have you here, man. What's up with all those skateboards behind you?
Oh man, dude, I grew up skateboarding and then from there got into riding Harleys. We did a lot of cool collabs. One of this ones right here is a Builtwell Dark Star collaboration, and then we have some Harley Davidson collab skateboards that we've done with Dark Star as well that actually sold in the Harley Davidson um in a lot of the shops across the US, and those are super limited. So the guys that got those on their wall, I mean, they only made so many, so they're super
Yeah, they
special.
look cool, man. I know you collaborate with a lot of people. We'll talk a little bit about that. But before we get into all that, let's talk about your first time on two wheels as a kid.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like I started riding motorcycles, I want to say pretty young, like being on a dirt bike at at my grandpa's house on Auntie Polly's dirt bike in the field, probably like 6, 7 years old, learning how to run the clutch and all that stuff. I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So Milwaukee is where Harley's founded, and my dad always had a Harley growing up. So I really grew up around motorcycles pretty much my whole life. Like we'd go up north, we'd go snowmobiling and then ride dirt bikes in the summer. And my grandpa had like a three-wheeler. So we were around, pretty much I was around, motorcycles my whole life. And my dad, I think before he had a Harley, he had a Honda. And I remember him just wheeling that thing down the street. So I was pretty much born to ride. I mean, since I was a young kid, I got really back into it as an adult. I did a collaboration sponsorship with Harley Davidson, and they gave me a free Dyna. My first Dyna I got was a Street Bob 2015, and we did a collaboration with them. No, actually, it wasn't 2015. I have a 2015 lowrider now. It was a 2012, I believe, Street Bob, and that's when I really got back into like riding, on the streets and all that stuff. And then from there, I bought a dual sport. I got a Husqvarna FE 350. So it's kind of nice. I can leave my house, it's plated, go rip down the street, and then boom, right up behind Cook's Corner here in Orange County, up to Saddleback Mountain. There's tons of trails to ride. So motorcycling's,
Oh,
part of
nice.
my life.
Yeah, you're in the right area right there, man. You don't got to put it in a truck or a trailer to get out there, huh?
Exactly.
Right on, man. So tell me about your skateboarding also. How did you get into skateboarding and become the icon you are in the industry?
Okay, so I grew up like as a little kid at age 2, I was starting to play ice hockey. My dad was always into ice hockey and got me and my brother on ice skates at like age 2. So through that, like played ice hockey as a young kid. So I think my legs got pretty strong as a young kid. And then from there, I was probably like 7 or 8 years old, and there's some kids on my hockey team that skateboarded. So I got that skateboard, and I continued to play hockey, I think, for 2 more years or so, and then really got into skateboarding. And in the winter we'd skate in the basement. Eventually, Milwaukee opened up a skate park called Four Seasons Skate Park, and that's really where my progression began. And I just started getting really good skating local contests at the Four Seasons Skate Park. From there, long story short, going to going down to Tampa. It's a big amateur competition, doing well there. Coming back with like all these business cards from brands that I grew up liking, like skateboarding. Looking up to like guys like Ed Templeton with Toy Machine, and Al Parton gave me the opportunity to get on Millennium. And then from there, I started flying out to California and filming out here. And I went to overseas. I went overseas to Germany to the World Cup when I was 16. I won my first pro contest. Came back and pretty much moved to California. Bought a BMW. I think I won like 30 grand. Took all the money. Wasn't that great with investing it, but bought a car that was reliable and drove to California. And the rest is history.
Man, that's crazy, man. So tell me about these videos that you were doing after you turned pro.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so I came to California. I started filming with Rodney Mullen and Daewon Song for the Almost Round 3 video. That really put my name on like, a crazy platform, being next to these legends. And instantly, like once that video came out, instantly overnight, like everyone knew who my name was. And that was a big like changing moment. Um, from there, I started skateboarding in competitions, and I got a manager that started representing me. Like, oh, do you have anyone representing you? I said no, and then he got me on like crazy companies like corporate companies like Oakley Shades and Monster Energy Drink and Toyota Cars, and it just evolved, and I started making a living actually skateboarding, doing what I love to do, and then years later, I got sponsored by Rockstar, and Rockstar Energy did a collaboration with Harley Davidson as a bike. So it was a Harley Davidson bike, but it was painted like Rockstar, like their branding, and they were giving it away for free as a social media giveaway. And Jeff Wick, who worked at Harley Davidson in Milwaukee, pretty much called my boss Steve and was like, "Dude, what's up with Greg? We see he's from Milwaukee and he's into riding motorcycles." And that's how I kind of got into riding Harleys. And
Well,
then
it's funny you bring up the Rockstar bikes. If you look on the wall behind me, I've got
those are them. Yeah.
Rockstar bikes on there that I did for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yep. Those are, yeah, that's right when they were kind of doing the giveaways and all that stuff. I was there for a lot of that time and era. I think I even know some of those the models that are up next to the bikes.
yeah, they had the same girls that did a
Yeah.
lot of that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
man, that was such a
they're
cool
cool
thing that
people.
they were doing. Yeah,
Really
very cool
cool to
people.
work with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steve Matea's over there. He gave me the opportunity. I was with Monster Energy in the beginning for like a couple years, and me and Steve have always been like best friends. He was working for a company called Vestel Watches, and then he got the opportunity to go work for Rockstar, and he called my phone right away, and I was their first street skateboarder that they signed, and it was a blessing to just like work with some of my best friends and work with a brand like Rockstar, and then from there, that opportunity got me with Harley Davidson, and then next thing you know, we're doing collaborations with the skateboards, and Harley was sponsoring the X Games, and I was touring and traveling, just doing what I love, man, skateboarding and riding motorcycles, and kind of that's what I do to this day, So
Well, tell me a little bit
nothing.
more about your relationship with Harley Davidson. What level of sponsorship? How did that evolve, and what's going on with that?
Yeah, it was really cool. Like they gave me the first trip we did. It was called the Taste of Freedom tour, and we did 4 stops. That was like where they put us through like the Harley Davidson Learn to Ride class and all that. I pretty much knew how to ride already, but we went through the class. We graduated, and then they gave us free bikes. I got my first Street Bob. A couple years later, like the lowrider, I was super pumped on the lowrider, and they ended up giving me a lowrider. And then a couple years later after that, I ended up getting a bagger, which was really cool. So I've been working with them for many years. Like I mentioned, we did the collabs with the skateboards. I've done a lot of trips with them. We even did a partnership with Eagle Rider because Eagle Rider's partnered with Harley, where we
Yeah.
went down to Miami and did a whole trip, like from down from Miami to the Keys, uh, with Eagle Rider, and then man, it's just I've been with Harley for many years, and being from Milwaukee, I've always been a big fan of the brand, and just that partnership alone was just such a blessing, So
Okay, so you have a bagger right now. What year is that?
that one is a 2019,
Okay,
and
and
then my
before
lowrider is a 2017.
and before that, you hadn't had a bagger or pretty much
No,
ridden a bagger too much.
no, no, I never rode a bit. No, so there's a
What
lot
a
of different.
difference! What a difference
Big
on the
difference,
road.
big difference. Yeah, yeah. They're
Yeah,
both great bikes.
yeah,
I'll be honest, I ride my Dyna probably more, but just because it just cruise around here. But if I go on like
yeah,
a trip, or if I want to cruise up to LA or on the freeway, I'll take the bagger. So
exactly. That's the deal. Like you go out on the freeway, and what
yeah,
a difference. You know
it's
what I
like a
mean?
couch. It's like a couch on wheels.
Yeah, you got that fairing and the windshield. It's blocking a
Music
lot of that.
blasting.
Yeah, because you get out on a dyno. I mean, for years and years, I mean, up till '91, none of us wanted to wear helmets, pretty much.
Yeah,
And we fought against the helmet law, but it happened, and we had to start wearing it. So we started wearing the little, half dome helmets and cut up helmets, real tiny ones, and all that stuff. And we thought we would never wear a full face, you know.
yeah.
And
I mean, in my hometown in Milwaukee, I don't even think you have to wear a helmet anymore. I mean, that's
yeah,
California law out here, but in Milwaukee, you don't have to. There is no helmet law.
right, right. There's a lot of
So
areas, like that. But anyhow, so eventually, I got up to where I had a little small little windshield, those little sporty ones, that they run on the Dynas and the FXRs, and that helped a
yeah,
little
like a
bit.
fairing,
Yeah, a little
the fairing
tiny one,
smaller. Yeah.
and then then I got a bagger and I got the windshield. I'd cut the windshield way down, and then I'd find the right spot for it. You know,
Yeah.
and when you really notice it is when you have like a FXR or a Dyna and a bagger, and
Yeah.
go do 10 miles on the freeway
Yeah.
on the FXR or the Dyna,
Yeah.
bring it back, and then jump on the bagger, do the same 10 miles at the same speed.
Yeah. You can
You're
tell the
saying,
difference.
man, what a
Night
difference.
and day.
Just the comfort,
Crazy,
because
right?
the stress from the wind, the faster you go, the
Yeah.
more it pushes against you, and it feels like a vibration, you know, the
Correct.
faster you go.
Correct.
And you're
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
have on
have a
my
lot.
Dyna, I have a Memphis Shades fairing with the windshield, but it doesn't compare to like the bagger one. But I kind of like the wind at times too. You know what I mean? It's just like just part of it,
Well,
So
you know what? When you're riding local, like you say, and through the canyons and all that
not a
stuff,
big
it's
deal.
great carving them up, with the other bikes,
Correct.
But it's just like if you're doing sustained high speed cruising,
For a
going
long
somewhere,
distance.
yeah, and it really makes a difference. You know what I mean?
I wish we did the Laughlin run. I wish back then I had when we did it. I wish I had the bagger because that was a nice little trip. That would have been nice to have the bagger on that one.
Yeah, I've done when I used to go to Laughlin, I've done both, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big difference. But now I'm one of those guys. I wear my full face all the time.
Yeah, I wear full face too. I'm just comfortable with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
and it's
um,
I mean, it works. You get in an accident, you know what I mean? That thing's working for you.
oh yeah,
I still got the half helmet when I want to think I'm cool and all that stuff, but in reality, man, the full face is really the way to go. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
oh yeah, for
Between
sure.
that and a little bit of a wind blocker up there with a windshield and a fairing, man, you're dialed in a lot better. For the faster you go, the more that wind pushes back. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love riding bikes. I love riding all bikes. Like I said, I have my Husqvarna, I got my Dyna, I got my bagger. I even have a one of the Surrounds. I don't know if you've seen those, like electric bike that's just fun for cruising around the neighbor, from around here. They're
Yeah, is
just
that the little?
all the young kids have them. Like everyone
Yeah,
around here, sometimes just jump on that thing, like
man,
it's
those
like
dudes are
silent.
hauling.
And they're fast. They're just fun. So I like being on two wheels in general. That I love being on. I respect all motorcycles and
Yeah.
obviously, I'm from Milwaukee. I'm a big fan of Harley, and that's what I ride is
Hey,
primarily. But
man, I was talking to a buddy of mine. Those electric bikes, some of them will go 70 miles an hour.
oh, I don't. Mine goes like 65 miles an hour
That's
with like an
crazy,
8 mile
man.
range. So
Crazy. I see
and they're
packs of
silent. You get
kids.
ripped through the neighborhoods. It's kind of crazy.
I see packs of kids running around in those things. You know what I mean?
I know. I wish when I was a young kid, I would have had one of those, right?
Yeah, me too.
So
I was going down Coast Highway the other day, and I had to look twice. Coming at me, there was a pack of kids. They
yeah.
had a go-kart. They had all these mini bikes and dirt bikes in a pack
Wow.
going right down Coast Highway. You know what I
They
mean?
don't care.
And I was surprised there wasn't no cops behind them, but I bet they had a problem somewhere down the line.
Oh,
You know what
oh
I mean?
yeah, I bet.
Somebody's mom's going to be getting a phone call from jail on that one, probably,
I
or
know, right?
juvie or whatever. Crazy, man. So
Yeah.
anyhow, you also mentioned to me that you work with one of the exhaust companies with motorcycles.
Yeah, Bassani exhaust.
Mhm.
Pretty rad deal there. Like, I started riding bikes and then with the Harleys, I want to start customizing it, right? So the first thing I did was I did the exhaust first and I put Bassani exhaust on it. It was a Road Rage 2.
I
And
like those.
the bracket broke on it, broke the bracket.
Yeah.
So Bassani's not that far from here. So I was talking to the guys at Suicide Machine Co., Sean and those guys. And he's like, just go to Bassani. They're super cool, man. Like they'll probably just put a new bracket on it for you. So I went over to Bassani, met Gary, and then I met Daryl Bassani, and he was like, awesome, dude. He literally didn't even care to put the bracket on my bike. He literally took the whole pipe off and put a whole brand new system that was actually the Road Rage 3. So I got an upgraded pipe. And then we just started talking, about like he's like, oh, what do you do? And I said, oh, I'm a professional skateboarder, and I ride bikes and just, I partnered with Harley and we're doing these collab skateboards. He's like, really? And then, he's like, what do you not like on this pipe? On the old one, that's the Road Rage 2. Said over here it scrapes, and it's a little longer. You can't really ride bags with this one. And, just a few different things. And he had some ideas for performance wise, making the two front headers equal length. And then he said, well, when's your birthday? I said 1985. He goes, we should do a 85 series. We'll make 85 signature pipes for you. and we'll collab with the ideas that you have and what I have with the performance, and that's what we did. And those pipes sold out so quick. It was insane. And it's still to this day the #1 selling best Dyna pipe at Bassani exhaust. I don't know through the whole market, but definitely at Bassani. And you know, we've sold probably over like, I don't even know, over like 2,000, 3,000 of those pipes now. But it went from a limited edition pipe, and then Daryl called my phone and said, well, you know, what does limited edition mean to you? And I go, well, what do you mean? He goes, I go, what's wrong? He goes, nothing's wrong, but these pipes, everyone wants them. And I go, he's like, what do you think about changing from limited to special edition? I said, all right, let's do that. He said, the people want them, let's keep them going. So it became like a staple, and it just did really well. Stainless steel pipe, the front headers are equal length. The design that we did, partial heat shields. You know, you can run bags with it. It doesn't scrape on the front header at the bottom.
Right.
And then from there I went to because it sells through Drag Specialties. I went to the drag show in Wisconsin, and I ended up meeting Chris's dad. I ended up meeting Chris at Saddleman, but his dad wanted seen my pipe, and all of a sudden the industry started talking about, wow, look, this skateboarder's got this crazy, really good pipe. And I ended up doing a partnership with Saddleman to do seats. So I ended up creating a whole badass Dyna seat, and then we created a Sportster seat, and those seats do really well too. They sell through drag, and we basically took like the step up, but like made curves on it and just made it like a more comfier step up. I say it's not as like straight like this. It's kind of got a little back, and it's got a cup in the, you know, in your back. So, you know, the step up's really good for a lot of stunt riders because it's straight up and they got like almost a platform to put their foot on.
Sure.
But for the average rider that's not doing wheelies and doing all that, I think this seat's a very good option for
so
that.
You made it basically form fit to your butt more
Yeah, and the back
like
too. The back's like cupped too. So we took that foam and we dialed it in. It took like, I don't know, 6 months. We just kept messing with it. I wasn't in a hurry to really come out with it. I just wanted to make something really, really solid and good that people like, that's comfortable, and that I was comfortable with riding too. And then from there, I ended up doing a partnership with Z1R. I'm with Z1R, so they make tons of helmets and badass gloves. And then came Russ Brown, man. And Russ Brown has been amazing to work with. And, you know, I always knew Russ Brown because, you know, obviously you see the big billboards on the side of the road, and they're always doing great things for the riders. Before I became I don't even know what you're going to say, ambassador or whatever, like, I'm just a big fan of Russ Brown in general and doing something good for the bike community. I had one of their cards, you know, the BAM program, the Riders Helping Out Riders. I go to Cooks all the time. So like every weekend I'll see their tents up at Cooks. So I reached out to them on social media, and I was like, I'm a huge fan of Russ Brown and what you guys are doing in the movement and how you guys are helping a lot of bikers out and just everything you guys are doing. And they gave me the opportunity to start working with them and be at their events and events that I was doing as well. Like we'd have them come out to those events, and it's been a great partnership. And I really feel blessed to be working with them along with all the other brands I'm working with. And it's just kind of like, none of this was really planned. I just knew that I loved, you know, skateboarding. I love riding motorcycles. And then those two industries really go hand in hand because a lot of skateboarders, you know, ride bikes, you know, like you got Adrian Lopez that even owns his own brand, Loser Machine. He's a pro skateboarder. And, you know, you go to a Born Free show and you got the, you know, the big vert ramp there, and you got Steve Cavallero out there, and you got Hosoi out there, and Rick Thorne, and like all these guys. So like the culture just really meshes well together. Skateboarding, motorcycle culture is just like goes hand in hand. So like I said,
same mindset.
Same mindset. Yeah. And it's like if you're pushing yourself on your skateboard, a lot of these guys are doing on their bikes too with all the stunt riding. And you know, like even for me, like going from, I don't know, riding dirt bikes to being on the street to like getting back on the dirt bike, and you know what I mean? Like you just push yourself, and it's just a lot of fun. And but yeah, it is the same mindset. I think that's why. And it's,
you know, I'm with you. You know, a lot of people think, and it's changing a little bit, but they think you're either a Harley rider or you're a motocross rider or you're a skateboarder or whatever. You know what I mean? You can be all of it.
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's cool. I think they need to do more events where everybody come, like the vendors cover A to Z. Everything.
We just did one 2 weeks ago at Bassani. You know, we just did one that we had basically we had the stunt guys at the Bassani parking lot, which was insane. Those guys were just going off. And then we actually had a skate section too. And like a lot of the fans would go from the stunt section over to the skate section, then back to the stunt section.
Yeah.
And it was actually at Bassani, and they do events all the time. They're always doing events. So it's really cool to see that. Even with at Born Free, you got the vert ramp, and then you walk around. You got the death wall, and then you got like all the vendors and like the live band and the beer, and just like I love the culture. I love the motorcycle culture. I really do. And I'm just a big fan of being on my bike. I feel like when I'm in my car, I'm bored. Like
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I love being on my bike. I have my backpack. I put my board on the back, and I rip around everywhere. So it just
Right
goes
on,
hand
man.
in hand.
Anything else you want to cover before we sign off, Greg?
Um, I don't think anything too much. I think we covered a lot of it. I know you mentioned the skateboard stuff. I had some of my trophies here, winning a lot of the
That's
X
what I
Games
wanted you to bring up. Yeah.
back in the day. Like these are kind of cool. Like
Tell us what those are again.
these are X Games gold medals.
Right.
So that's like when you win the gold medal at the X Games, that's kind of what you get. So those are kind of special to me. They're plaques on the wall, I guess, kind of just, and these are plaques on the wall too, to have my name on a board with the Harley Davidson logos and the branding, and those are just as important to me as these are. And that bike in my garage is just as important to me than all of it. So
right on. Well, you've done well, man. I like the way that you're doing the cross culture stuff, and it's growing. And keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I really, really enjoy the support, or really appreciate the support. I really just enjoy riding and doing what I love. And I can see you have a passion for the same thing. So that's killer.
I'd be on the skater, but I'm too late for skating. You know what I mean? It's too late. I should have done it way back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, hey, give a shout out to your website.
Yeah. So we have two websites. So I have greglutzka.com. That's just kind of more of my personal stuff. And then we actually have lutzkasgarage.com, where we sell that it's just more of a passion project for me. But people always hit me up, where can we get your pipes? And so you can get them on lutzkasgarage.com. And we also carry other products on there as well. Like I said, I don't want to pump it too much, or like it's not about.
Well, you know what though, that pipe, before you even made the mods to it, I love that pipe. It's a great.
Oh yeah, the Rotor H3 is amazing too. Yeah. The biggest difference, everyone asks the biggest difference. The biggest difference is the front two headers are equal length on our my signature pipe. And that's what the biggest, me and Daryl, or that was really his vision, to be honest. And then it just kind of modified it, so it gives it a better performance.
Yeah,
that's why a lot of people really enjoy that pipe.
It was like the fact that it had a shorter stinger in the back, and it was really
it did
yeah,
because it can fit bags. Yeah, there's a couple other little modifications too. Don't get me wrong, there is. But the main thing is that the front headers are equal length. It gives a better performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are little other modifications for sure. Fits with bags. I think the Rotor H3 fits with bags as well. I know that the longer two did not. But yeah, it's stainless steel. It doesn't rust. Strong as nails. I've had the same one on since the day we built the thing, and it's been on for years. And
yeah, they got a great shielding. The shielding just contours perfectly and seamlessly. It's really nice.
Yeah, they make great stuff. So big shout out to Bassani and Daryl, man. Daryl gave me that opportunity, and if that bracket went to broke, I would have never went, and all this would have never happened. But hey, I can't complain. So thank you for this interview, and I appreciate all the support through everyone out there, and I encourage everyone to get out there and go ride.
Right on, man. All right, good having you here, man. I'll talk to you in a little while, right?